Qué bonitos ojos tiene. Abajo sus dos cejas. Abajo sus dos cejas. Qué bonitos ojos tiene. Ellos me quieren mirar. Pero si tú no los dejas, ni siquiera papi a dar. Ay, beca, wana, ile, oh, beca. Have, negila, mishmahal. Have, negila, mishmahal. Je vous cette nuit dans un rêve, sur un banc dans un parc à minuit, deux amants qui sont frères, ils s'aimeraient, elle et lui, à pas de loup je m'approchais, je vous ce que l'ombre cachait, c'était vous et moi, qu'en dites-vous madame, Deep River, my home is over Jordan. When I get to be a composer, I'm going to write about daybreak in Alabama. I'm going to put some of the prettiest music in there, rising up out of the ground like a low mist, coming down from the heavens like a dew. When I get to be a composer, I'm going to write about daybreak. I'm going to put some long red necks in my music and some copper-colored faces in my music, and some black and white and brown and red and yellow hands touching each other, natural, like dew. That is when I get to be a composer. Thank you. Now, folks, I am delighted to be invited back to William and Mary, and I agree with Dr. Holmes that it is a wonderful place. I did notice the incredible Carolinian color of the sky. Well, no, but I won't go into I am delighted to be back and to be the choice to reinstate, to begin again what I hope will be a tradition again at William and Mary, the Convocation. It is a great honor to speak to young men and women who are going to change our world, because that's exactly what you're going to do, whether you know it right now or not. This is your world to change. What you learn here, what you teach here, what you share here will make a formidable impact upon the world in the next 20 years. It is amazing. Somebody in the next 20 years is going to ferret out the answer to the question of why AIDS, what is it? Someone is going to be able to explain to us how we can eradicate the blight of racism and ageism and sexism from our beautiful country. Someone is going to teach us how to be true good neighbors in South America. Somebody is going to help us to become true community dwellers in this global community in which we live. And she or he might be sitting on the third row back there. He may be in this front row. She may be on the back row there. He may be on the very aisle over there. This is an incredible honor for me to have a chance to talk to her, to him, this person who is going to help us to obliterate cancer as a blight upon our physical body and fear and hate upon our psychological bodies. So I thank you very much. Now, those first shreds of songs represented a few love songs, really marvelous love songs, self-love songs, romantic love songs, some agape songs, agape love, love of love. And then, of course, there is the love, the Weltschmerz, the love of the world. And that, men and women, is what I hope you will learn more of in these next 4 years. To take responsibility for the time you take up and the space you occupy. The only way you can do it with any joy is that you love it. Otherwise, it will become onerous and burdensome and boring. But if you love the people you think about, while you're learning, the people for whom you're studying, you will do so with a will and with some cheer. I think it is important to look at the next person to you. I think it is important right now. I think it would be wonderful if you all would stand up and look at each other. Stand up. Turn around, look at each other. Yes. You see? Thank you. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Over the next 4 years, some of you are going to make friends. It's amazing. In 4 years, you will have made friendships so binding that you won't believe that you didn't know that girl or that boy, that woman or that man all your life. And you will know that for the rest of your lives, you will keep in some contact. Even if you don't do so by correspondence or by telephone, you will do so by feeling. You will think, yes, you remember Helen Brody, you remember her. Yes. So men and women, this chance in your lives is the great moment to bond and bind yourself. Shakespeare says, those friends thou hast, well, actually, he had Polonius say it, but he said, those friends thou hast and their adoption tried, buckle them to thy soul with hoops of steel. In this time, you will have a chance to rid yourselves of incredible ignorance that you didn't know you even brought here. You didn't know it was in your baggage. You didn't know it was in your luggage. You didn't know that you would be packing it into dresser drawers and putting it into closets. But this is the chance. Now is the time to free it, to rid yourselves of it. Information at its best helps you to become liberated. And real liberation is the liberation from ignorance, which binds and makes mean and makes small and makes hateful and makes ugly your lives. So it is wonderful if you start knowing two things. One, a statement. The statement is homo sum. Humani nihil ame alienum puto. 2 sentences. I am a human being, period. Nothing human can be alien to me. 2 sentences. One more time. Somebody in your row will remember it. When you get a chance, ask somebody and write it down. I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. Now, the statement was made by Terence. And when you look in the encyclopedia under Terence with 1 R, you will see beside his name in italics, Terentius Afer. He was an African, a slave. He was sold to a Roman senator. He became the most popular playwright in Rome. The senator freed him. 6 of his plays and that statement have come down to us from 154 BC. This man, not born white, not born free, or with any chance of ever achieving citizenship in the Rome of that day, said, I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. It is a concept so vast, men and women, so huge, almost untenable. I suspect that one can spend one's entire life trying to internalize what that really means. But what I have learned so far of what it means, and now I am in my 65th year, and I have so far learned that what it means is if a human being commits the most heinous crime, I am unable to say, oh, I could never do that. I can't say that because that was a human being who committed it, which means that I have within myself all the components to do that thing. I hope, I plan, and I pray to use my energies constructively as opposed to destructively. But I cannot cut myself off from that criminal. I cannot say, oh, I could never do it. Now, once I'm able to admit my vulnerability to the negative, I am able at the same time to use my energies to the positive. And then I can see some great act, some kind and generous action, some incredibly inclusive thought, whether the thought is a thought of Jean-Paul Sartre or James Baldwin or Edna St. Vincent Millay or Kobo Abe, Garcia Lorca, no matter who thought it, I have the possibility of understanding it. I have the condition to think such a great thought myself because that thought was thought by a human being, not by an elephant, not by an alligator. A human being thought that. That is amazing. So suddenly, all vistas are open to me. Men and women, if I could give you one thing, that would be the one thing I would ask you to try to remember for the next year. It will lighten your load. It will make very clear some of the grammatical confusions of French. You will say, oh yeah, well, some French people speak it, so it's the people who speak it, so really. I probably can get it. If someone else does it, I have within myself the capability. That I would give you. If you could internalize it just for a year, you'll never be the same. Never again. Never, ever. And the second thing to give you is this, that you have already been paid for. Each of you, privately, solely, in your own individual history, you have been paid for. Whether your answer, I don't mean your tuition, that's your business, you know what? But in the most fundamental, the most important ways, you have been paid for. Whether your ancestors came from Ireland in the 1840s and 50s trying to escape the potato blight, or if they came from Asia in the 1840s and 50s, unable legally to bring their mates for 8 decades, coming here to build this country, to build the railroads, or if they came from Eastern Europe, trying to escape the pogroms, the humiliations, the little murders and the large murders, or if they came from South America and Mexico, hoping to find a place that would hold all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves and their countless generations, or if they came from Africa, unwillingly, lying spoon fashion, back to belly, in the filthy hatches of slave ships, and in their own and in each other's excrement and urine, they have paid for each of you already paid for, without any chance of ever knowing what your faces would look like, what names you would bear, what mad personalities you'd foist upon the world. Without knowing any of that, they've paid for you. So it seems very clear that all you have to do really is prepare yourselves so that you can pay for someone else who is yet to come. Since life is our most precious gift, and since, as far as we can be absolutely certain, it's given to us to live but once, let us so live we will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity and ignorance. And in dying, each of us can say, all my conscious life and energies have been dedicated to the most noble cause in the world, the liberation of the human mind and spirit from ignorance. And I mean to begin with my own. Thank you.